Busy, busy, busy. Already dropped premium play for subscribers. I'll give that out right now in WNBA. Ooh. Las Vegas Aces plus 4.5 and 4. That's Las Vegas Aces plus 4.5 and 4. We are starting to bet WNBA. Fired a couple bets yesterday as well. Good night, coming off a nice night yesterday overall. A premium that I'll give out for free. I did bet Jared Gordon over Moises. I think Gordon, just a much better fighter here, just a lot more well-rounded. If he wasn't coming off that loss, which was a split decision in his last fight against Hosperant, he would be a 2-1 favorite in this spot. But now it looks like he's only had one win in his last 3 fights because of that one no contest against King Green. And because of that, you were able to get him at a slight discount. I don't like that Thiago's a lot younger than him, but I think Gordon's got more than enough to get it done. I also have a 5% going. Can't give that out, obviously, but it's a decent card. Live dog for you. I'll give you a live dog real quickly. Dustin Stolfus over Ruzboev. Ruzboev probably should win this fight, obviously, but I just don't think the price is warranted. He's just way too big of a favorite against Stolfus. With his back against the wall, I think it's one of those live dogs. Again, when you're taking that kind of plus money, you're going to throw that ticket out a lot more than you're going to cash it. But at almost a 2-1 dog, the break even, he's got to win this fight 1 out of 3 times. And I think it's more like 60-40 in favor of Ruzboev. I don't think he should be more than a minus 150 favorite, 160 favorite. So I do think there's a little bit of value on the Stolfus side. I haven't fired yet, but I'm hoping that line goes a little bit higher so I could get plus 200 or greater. It's about that minus plus 195 range right now, but we should be able to get plus 200. Again, I just think that's a plus EV bet. Usually not going to cash too many of those. You'll throw it out 6 out of 10 times, even when you're running hot, but you still have an edge even at that rate.
I have a client play for everybody. It's up at WagerTalk. You have to pay for it. It's free to your listeners. I like the under, Steve. I'm just going to stick to the program here. I want to take unders in these close games. Last night we had a game 6. It was such a stone cold under. It was ridiculous. Here you got Winnipeg 40 and 51 to the under on the year-end playoffs. Dallas 39-48 to the under on the year on the playoffs. Head-to-head. Are you ready for this, Steve? Head-to-head in their last 10 games, how many went under? Take a guess.
8.
9.
9, wow.
9
That's underwhelming.
Under. And the only game that went over was a 5-2 victory by Dallas with an empty netter with an empty netter. So why are we sitting here trying to overthink this stuff? I mean, these two teams have already defined how they want to play. They've defined how they want to play against everybody, and they definitely have defined how they want to play against each other. The only thing that worries me here ultimately is that Hellbuck has just been absolutely horrible on the road. And it defies logic, Steve. It makes absolutely no sense. And I know that when you look at pitchers in baseball and you sit there and you think, okay, well, Kershaw's incredible at home and shitty on the road, or I just made that up, but, whoever is great at home, shitty on the road. The discrepancy on the road and at home for Connor Hellebuyck is at a level that we've never seen in any sport. It would literally be the equivalent of I don't have an analogy. Forget analogies. Andrew Woj, I love you too, brother. The bottom line here is, why are we overthinking this shit? Take the under, take the under, take the under. If you have a chance to take the over in the third period, like I said on the Leaf game, so for instance, it's 0-0 going into the third, total is 2.5. Put half the under bet on that over and protect yourself from 5 minutes of an empty net opportunity. But my client play is the under, and my client plays have been freaking gold. So that's where we're at, my brother. Right off the bat, the under is the play. 5.5 is the number. Look, even at 5, I would look to take the under, and there's no reason why Like, don't overthink this stuff. When you look at these two teams and their matchups against each other, 2 years ago, they played in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They went 5 games. All 5 games went under the total. In the last few, you had 2-0 in the last game, 6-1 in the game before that, but that was a total anomaly, and 2-0 the game before that. Florida and Toronto like to play these hard-checking, tight hockey games, and in Game 7 or Game 6, any type of elimination game, I like to look at the under. Now, the way I would attack this is to see if you can find that window to bet the over going into the third period. So in an ideal situation, you would take under 5.5, and then it's 1-0 going into the third, and the total would be, say, 3.5, and then I would maybe look to take the over there. The only problem I have with unders in these elimination games is if it's 3-1 or 4-1, the goalie could be pulled for 5 straight minutes. And that's why I like the over later and the under earlier. But I really do think this is going to be a tight checking game. I like the Leafs here, too. I think it was a huge statement game against Florida. This team could have rolled over and died, and instead they played their most perfect hockey game in the entire Matthews-Marner era. Last night, Joseph Wallace played outstanding as well. If I can get the Leafs as a dog, I would go there, but I do prefer under the total of 5.5. And I think we get at most a 3-2 hockey game. It's going to be a hell of a hockey game tomorrow night. That's for sure.
I don't think there's any other way to go here. I mean, you got Zach Wheeler on the mound. Not only on the curve do I have him as an elite pitcher, but out of all the 250 pitchers that I rank, I have him number 4. So he is elite. On my curve of 30, I have him number 1.7. So yeah, he's definitely elite. He's only walking 12% of the guys that he strikes out, which is an amazing number. Mlodzinski, I have him ranked 20 out of 30, so he's in the bottom 1/3 tier. Pittsburgh, their bullpen is not bad. Have them ranked 18, but I got Phillies bullpen ranked 13. So Phillies have every advantage here. Hitting, they rank 8. Pittsburgh ranks 26. They just can't produce any runs whatsoever. I don't think there's any other way to go. I think Phillies were like minus 270, but you can get them on the run line for a good number. Parlay the Phillies together with the Diamondbacks for minus 120. Might not be a bad bet on that one because I don't see either one of those teams losing to bottom feeders at home with good pitchers on the mound. Batting, pitching, and bullpen, starting pitcher. And Colorado's the only team that ranks 26 or worse in every single category that I rank across the board. German Marquez I have him ranked 28 out of 30 on a curve of 30 out of 200 starting pitchers. So yeah, he's walking about 60% of the batters that he strikes out. Not good numbers. Gallen's pretty average, but still, I think even though Arizona's bullpen is struggling, they're batting number 8 in all of MLB. So Diamondbacks would be the only way to go. Even at home, I think a run line is pretty safe. Today they have a much better pitcher here. I have Emerson Hancock ranked 24 out of 30 on the curve of 30. He's walking way too many guys. The only advantage that Seattle has in this game, as far as my numbers are concerned, is the bullpen. But it's not really that much of an advantage. Seattle is actually one of those teams that's known for their bullpen, but in this game, I have them ranked 14 out of 30, where I have San Diego ranked 19 out of 30. But those numbers are a little deceiving because San Diego has much better talent in their bullpen. And, you cap baseball too, Steve. The first couple weeks of the season, San Diego's bullpen was elite. But now they're dipping a little bit, but I think they'll come back. San Diego's too talented not to come back, and they get Emerson Hancock, who is probably not a major league level pitcher. I think they'll crush him. I think they'll smash him. However, you can take San Diego here. I think I got him at -1, but yeah, San Diego's the much better team. They have the better batting. San Diego currently ranks 5. Seattle currently ranks 24 in batting. So yeah. San Diego's the only way to go here.
All
I really like the way that River Thames is kind of coming into this race. And, we spoke about the fact that the trainer and the ownership group on the Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty are skipping the Preakness, as, they've spoke about it's really not his spot. He probably also needed a little bit of rest. They're doing right by the horse and taking care of him rather than, shoving him into a race. And, that leads us to Todd Pletcher and the WinStar Farm ownership group of this number 6 River Thames, who had enough points to go into the Kentucky Derby. And when you start training, thoroughbred horses and owning horses that cost, upwards of $1 million, your number one goal is to win the Kentucky Derby. And again, they did right by the horse, giving him a little bit of time off. He looked a little bit tired in the grade 1 bluegrass in his start before that. So Todd Pletcher really likes his running style going into this Preakness race, probably needed a little bit of time off. So, we're going to look at the number 2 Journalism as the morning line and probably the post-time favorite when those gates open. And, the really big question on him is, what's he going to look like wheeling back in 14 days? It's not necessarily a, winning type trainer angle or something that Michael McCarthy, the trainer of the number 2 Journalism, does. So that's kind of the knock or the question I have about that favorite. I like that they gave a little bit of time off to this number 6 River Thames. We're getting a little bit of a good price because, a lot of public's going to be on, the number 2 Journalism and also Sandman, who ran in the Derby. So I think we're going to get a good price on River Thames. Didn't necessarily look good in the bluegrass, but I think he was tired. Give him a little bit of an excuse there, and hopefully he can fire a big number for us later on today. I'm going to try and beat favorites where I feel like I can punch holes into their form, and that favorite's the 13 Shikari at 5-2. He is or she is the horse to beat in this race. Sorry, he is the horse to beat in this race. But that 13 post is not necessarily an easy post position to overcome, especially on this turf course. And while he doesn't necessarily need the lead, he's not going to come too far back. There's not a lot of speed in this race. And when there's not a lot of speed in this race and they're going a route of ground on the turf, they kind of bunch up. And so I really think this 13 is going to be drifted out wide, probably be wide throughout. So I do like prices underneath. I think the 1 with Luis Saez can save all the ground. I also think he can be a little bit more forwardly placed at 12-1. I like the 4 Neat at 8-1. I think he's running into good form. I think this distance and this race kind of hits his form between the eyes. And the number 10 Fort Washington is another horse that is one to beat with Junior Alvarado coming out, winning his last race at Gulfstream. So I'm going to kind of throw out the first and second choice up top. I'm going to use the 1, the 4, and the 10 up top. And then I'm going to use the 1, 4, 6, 10, and 13 underneath. For $1 exacta, it's only going to cost you $12 to punch. And like I alluded to with, a 12-1, an 8-1, a 10-1. And if we can get the favorite off the board, I definitely think this can pay. And, we're 1 for 1. We got the exacta 2 weeks ago. So like I said, if we get this one today, definitely clear out your schedule in 3 weeks.